WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting, well, rare and exotic whiskeys because I have a German whiskey this time. I've had a few of these on my channel. It's called ElsBurn. It used to be called Glen Els, but then the Scottish Whisky Association started suing and they changed the name. And the original Hercynian single malt whiskey, and this time I have the special 2021 release called Cosy Winter. This is the 7th edition. And what we have here is Whiskybase number 196984. The name of the distillery is Hammerschmiede, so the hammer mill. So it used to be a blacksmith that used to be in there. And we have here a batch L 2060, and it's 1,364 bottles. And it's bottled at 56.2% in cask strength. Non-chilled filters, says the label. Natural color, says the label. Very, very good. And what we have here is I'm going to use the word vatting of first fill Malaga casks. Malaga are fortified wines here from Spain. We have first fill Dolce Marsala cask, which are fortified wine casks from Sicily and Italy. And we have port wine casks, first fill, which are fortified wine casks from Portugal. So we have Spain, Italy, and Portugal's most famous, in my opinion, fortified wine casks all here together. Now, I might one day actually have to go buy try to have a sample of Malaga, sample of Marsala, and a sample port, and mix them together and see what happens. How does that taste? Because that's what I get here. So it is going to be my winter in July and August. So it's going to be August. Today's the last day of July that I'm doing this. So it's my winter in August and summer of 2021 episode here. I've never done that before, but I decided why not. All right, so we have two winter whiskeys here, a Cosy Winter and a Tailor Winter, and I thought I would compare them. So this is a 90 euro bottle. This is a 75 euro bottle. Both of these are 0.7 liters. This has 46%. This has 56.2%. This costs less. This is 13 years of age, and this is a no-age whiskey. Now, in Germany, whiskey ages almost like some places in America, which means quicker. Now, I'm going to say if we have a continental climate, that is the more common climate of the world. So most of America has winters and summers. Most of Europe have winters and summers. Now, if you go up to Scotland and even over to Ireland, but especially Scotland, you have a cold and damp winter, and you have a not so warm and often damp summer. And so it takes much, much longer in Scotland for a whiskey to actually mature, because maturation happens that something mainly due to temperature, and the changes in temperature happens with the wood. And if the temperatures don't change, the whiskey doesn't age. And so most places in the world, like for example Germany, has summer. They have even winters, and even there we have our temperature variation, and that helps that a whiskey actually ages at a normal age, normal period here. Texas is abnormal, too quick. Taiwan is too quick or quicker. So Taiwan, India, and Texas are very quick. Scotland is very slow, and if you look at just the normal weather patterns of Germany as well as Kentucky or Indiana or so on, you'll have a more standard, normalized whiskey pattern. Now, for those of you that grew up in Hong Kong or in a subtropical climate, for you, that's normal. For me, Scotland is not normal. All right. Even though for many of us, we've been told for many, many years, older is better, and therefore the 13-year-old whiskey has to be better than this is going to be a mix of probably between 5 and 8-year-old barrels. I could ask the owner, Anne Buchholz, and say, hey, give me the exact composition of the cask used. But I don't think it's necessary. I think it's actually, let's say it's a 4 to 10-year-old whiskeys that were used here. So I'm going to go 5 to 8. And that's not a problem. They're not trying to be try to be older than they are. They're just a no-age statement whiskey. Now, the colors are something that really intrigues me. This might actually have caramel coloring in it. This doesn't. It's so much darker. Those first fill Malaga, first fill Dolce, Marsala, the first fill port casks really do a great job here of adding a little bit of color to this. And the interesting thing is, if you go actually to their website here from ElsBurn, you'll see that they have it's called The Journey. And The Journey is non-peated whiskey. They have something from ElsBurn, non-peated whiskey. They have something called the Willowburn, which they use with very lightly smoked whiskey from wood smoke and lightly peated. Then they have something called the Alric, and that is 100% wood smoked grain, so barley, 100% barley. And they have the Emperor's Way, which is 100% peated barley. And this is a very slight proportion of that wood smoked barley. Not much, but just a little bit. I call it like the pepper in the soup, the salt in the soup. You should not recognize the salt, but the salt actually enhances the flavor, and it does this. Now this is 56.2%, and it doesn't at all feel like that. I get this wonderful, I'm going to use the word sappy almost. Sappy's wrong. This viscous, this thick, syrupy moment going on here on the nose. This is good. This is really good. I'm going to give this a B- on the nose. This, on the other hand, I get a lot of sulfur and a little bit of fake cherry aroma that time. And the smoke is so subtle that I am fairly sensitive to smoke, don't even recognize it. Now, I must admit the packaging here, this is the standard box. I like the little heart here. I don't know if you can see that. But they just put a sticker on here, basically put a different sticker on here, and that's it. Now, each and every one of these bottles are hand bottled. That means they have a nice little system set up where I think they can do 8 bottles at once. They pull down the lever, it fills up the 8 bottles. They put the cork in by hand. They put the capsule on it. They actually shrink the capsule with heat by hand. They actually put the wax on here, have a stamp on here by hand. They put the label on here by hand, and they put it in the box by hand. This was anywhere between 30 and 60,000 bottle release. It was actually bottled in 2 separate days. Not a person touched this bottle. All right, so this was all done on a bottling line, and it was just totally automated. And there's no reason at all to be against that. I actually like that. I don't think hand bottled is better than machine bottled. But if you look at the prices, this is 75 and this is 90. Did they really need that much money for this little box here? I don't know. All right. It's winter. Let's be nice. 56.2%. Let's try it. There's a thickness, the viscosity to this whiskey that is absolutely amazing. I have no idea why this bottle hasn't been sold. It's not sold out yet. I really enjoy it. Oh, it's so dense. The flavors are just so dense that those fortified wines just come together. Very, very nice. Now, what is really amazing is if I dilute it down a little bit, so I'm taking it from its 56.2%, taking it down to 53, 50, whatever. I'm not really diluting it down too much, but just a little bit. The mouthfeel changes drastically. It gets a little bit less viscous. There's more of actually a thinning out. But the flavors of the Malaga, of the Marsala, of the port, pop even more. It's even more of a fortified wine type of moment here. I'm going to give this really a B-. Value for money, this is going to be a C to C-. Now, why do I almost give this a C minus? This is a no age stage product, no age stated product. So it might just be a 5-year-old whiskey. 5 years old and €75 is a lot of money, even though it is cask strength, even though it's not chilled filtered, even though it's natural color, even though they only use the best of the first fill casks available. And yet, I really like this. I did a bottle share, so I don't own any of this bottle left. I had my 5 CLs already. Would I go out and buy another edition 7? Probably not. Would I actually wait until November of 2022 and go buy the edition 8 of Cosy Winter? Yes, I am. This is something that's actually on my radar now. I'm going to look forward to this each and every year. Just like I look forward to the Journey coming out each and every year, just like I look forward to seeing which Emperor's Way comes out, and look forward to all the other products of ElsBurn. ElsBurn is a local distillery. They are producing around. I actually did a podcast with my buddy and with the owner, so Anne Buchholz, and I think they produce something around 30,000 liters of alcohol a year, and they're not going to increase the capacity. She took over the distillery with her father together, and it is a tourist attraction. They are in a very, very touristy area in the Harz Mountains where people go walking and hiking and go on vacation and people just come by, they pick up the bottles, they take a tour, and they leave and they order other bottles online, and this is going to be a German product for the German nation. There are no ambitions to actually conquer the world and have this whiskey being sold in Tokyo and New York and Los Angeles and Buenos Aires and London and Paris. Now, some of these bottles find their way over the border of Germany somehow, some way, but that's not the official distribution policy. And so you might actually have to look for an auction to find something from ElsBurn. I think personally that I've been following the distillery now for at least 5 years. I think they've gotten better. Others have said they've just kept the quality, Jason. You're the person who's changed your taste and you've recognized the secret of the success. But I really like this. So B- and a C to C- for the value for money. My question of the day is what is your favorite winter whiskey to drink in the summer? Mine is not the Tale of Winter from Glenmorangie, but mine definitely is the Cosy Winter edition, in this case, number 7, 2021. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing. Whiskybase 196984. All the best. Bye-bye.